Good afternoon and welcome to Content Chat. Today, a lot of the folks who normally tune in to Content Chat are either already in San Diego or on their way there for this year's edition of Content Marketing World. Sadly, I am not going to be in attendance this year, but that said, I couldn't let this day go past without sharing some of my tips for making the most out of your experience at Content Marketing World. First of all, first thing you got to do is make sure that you don't miss the social events. Now, I'm an introvert, and let me tell you, the very first thing I am inclined to do is to skip over group social events because you think to yourself, they're not going to be fun and I'm not going to know anyone. But the thing is, these are your people. Everyone in attendance at Content Marketing World is a content marketing professional. So already that's a huge plus because you have that in common. You have that shared emphasis on creating content that actually entertains and is outrageously helpful to your audience. So that right there should mean that it's not going to be that scary to go to those events. But one way to make sure that it's a little less scary is if it's your first time attending, they have a really great program where it's an hour-long program where they give you all the ins and outs and give you all sorts of secrets, like how if you're somebody who travels with your laptop, you might want to sit in the first row because that's where the chargers are in all the rooms. So that way you're always make sure that your phone and your laptop are fully charged and ready to go. And it also gives you an opportunity to meet a bunch of other first-timers and strike up a conversation. My next tip is take a look for people who have a bunch of ribbons hanging off of their badges. Those colorful ribbons give you an opportunity to find people who have common interests, who have similar kinds of jobs. And it's also a really good way to see who's been in attendance for a few years, because you'll find people who are return attendees who'll have an alumni sticker. So those are folks that you can ask all sorts of burning questions. Similarly, look for the people wearing orange. That means that they're probably, again, people who've been attending for the better part of the past 10 to 15 years, or even that they used to be part of the Content Marketing Institute team. So those are some really easy ways that you can keep your eyes peeled for friendly folks who can help you make the most out of your Content Marketing World experience. I also highly recommend keeping your eyes peeled for Alec Irvin. Alec on my team is going to be in San Diego this week for the conference, and he knows so many people, and he loves getting to meet Content Chat community members and introducing them to each other. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for Alec. Now, I went to college in San Diego, and I spent a lot of time downtown in what is now the Gaslamp District. Back in the day, it wasn't nearly as popular, and your car was a lot more likely to get broken into. Today, it's a completely fun and safe place. And my number one tip is make sure you take time to go to Cafe Sevilla for some of the best Spanish food. They've got tapas, they have amazing sangria, and on weeknights, they have flamenco guitar. Sometimes they have a singer as well. And there are a few nights per week, they also have live flamenco dancing. So it's a really good time. It's probably the place that I spent the most of my time and money when I was in college. And the fact that it's, stood the test of time and is still there, being this fantastic place to have a lunch or dinner with old friends or new friends you meet at the conference, that just tells you what a fantastic place it is. Let's see. Other things that I always make sure to do, I always make sure to check out the bookstore, because chances are you're going to be able to get those books signed because those folks whose books are in the bookstore, they're speaking at the event. Hopefully next year that's going to be me, because my book will be coming out in early 2026. So I definitely hope that I will be able to be there and signing books for folks in attendance. So the other thing to be looking for on the show floor is going and talking to a few exhibitors. And I know this can feel a little intimidating, but here's the thing. You, as a content marketer, are important enough to them as an audience, as a potential customer, that they're there supporting the event by sending their staff and having a booth. They want to talk to you. They want to show you whatever it is that they offer from a product or service standpoint that supports the content marketing community. So make a time to do that. You can do that during lunch, you can do it during the breaks, but definitely make sure that you take a moment and talk to some of those folks, because it's your best opportunity to get up close and personal, especially if you have some technology need that you're hoping to get budget for the next year. Being able to see stuff and get that hands-on at the event, ask questions and follow up can really expedite that as you're going into your 2026 planning process. Which brings me to the last but not least, if you are at the event by yourself, you're already going to be doing this. You're going to be going in and you're going to be picking that seat, sitting down and doing whatever it is that you need to do. But if you're there with a bunch of folks that you know or a bunch of your coworkers, I highly recommend that one of the first things you do on Monday today is that you go and you sit down, you look over the agenda, and you pick different sessions to go to. Because you're going to find there's so much value from having that cross-pollination, from sitting in different sessions, learning from so many different people, and then coming back together to talk about what you've learned. Because yeah, your team members can certainly go and watch the recorded sessions afterwards, but it's so valuable to be in those sessions so that way they can ask those burning questions as they arise and have that context from having been in the room, and maybe even followed up with the speaker if something really resonated as far as being an area where you guys need some additional resources or guidance. So definitely do that. I'd say I'm going to pick one more thing to say I always make sure to do, and I highly recommend that you do too. Pick something off of the agenda to attend that has absolutely nothing to do with your day-to-day job, but that looks interesting. Something that you look at and go, I don't do that now, but I wonder what that's like. But going in to a session with a topic that you're not familiar with and just opening yourself up to listening, learning, and being in the moment, putting down that phone, not sitting there and scrolling through email while someone talks, but just sitting and listening to something new, it gets all of your synapses firing. It gets your brain, the little gears in your brain whirring. It makes you start having all these fun and creative thoughts because you're engaging a different part of your brain. You're not thinking about all the things that are on your to-do list. You're instead being really present in the moment and taking advantage of being in this bountiful, field of other content marketers getting to learn together. So while I'm totally sad I am not there with you this week, I hope that you all have a fantastic time. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on LinkedIn. So I hope you're all taking lots of photos and sharing all of the aha moments you have in your sessions. That's it for me. And next week, we're going to be talking about that book I just so casually mentioned, the one that I wrote. All right, stay tuned. We'll catch you next time on